Hey, it's Dr. Joe here on this Wednesday evening. Hope you're doing fine wherever you are. Another great session scheduled up today. Today we're going to talk more about managing properties from out of town. Depending on where you are, sometimes it's a good idea to invest out of state, out of town, whether it's across town, out of state, across the country, across the world, whatever it is. But the idea is that many times we live in neighborhoods or areas and cities whereby it's just not appropriate to invest. And so it makes more sense, or it could make more sense, to buy out of state, and so on. So obviously there are advantages and disadvantages to doing that. And so today I thought it would be a good idea to kind of give you some ideas, strategies, tips, suggestions on how, if you're going to buy long distance, buy properties from long distance, then how to actually manage them, and such that it doesn't, drive you crazy, and then you'll get burnt out and so on. So it's not easy. Personally, I invest close to where I live. So all my properties, I live in the Washington D.C. area, so I tend to invest in the Washington D.C. area for various reasons. But I know there are quite a lot of you who can't buy or don't want to buy where they live. So this, I think, is more geared towards you. So let me, I'll just say, congrats to Charles. I was down at his house today, making some real good progress on this project. I'm very, very proud of him, very pleased with him, and also with Corliss and Fitz on their project, doing real well. So if you're, I want to twist the focus on this for you, encourage you, motivate you, cajole you into taking action. It's not easy to actually pull the trigger and buy a home, buy a property, implement the BRRRR strategy, take on tenants, do section. It's not easy. It's scary, especially if you're putting money on the line. And but at the end of the day, you can't get financial independence by live streaming it. You got to take action. And so what I want to do is to encourage you to take action and leverage me as a resource. If you've got questions, if you've got some concerns, if there are issues, challenges that you're experiencing or facing or scared of, then you may want to reach out to me and book a one-on-one with me, and hopefully I can share with you my experiences and help you get over a little hurdle that you may be experiencing. And so that way you can stay focused and hopefully continue on your journey towards financial independence. So that's just it's not a plug per se. It's just that I want to encourage people to take action. I mean, that's at the end of the day it's all about. And I want viewers and people that listen to me, watch me, to have that kind of approach, attitude. And if I can be of assistance, then that's what I want to do. So you can book a one-on-one with me. You go to my website, joeasamoah.com, and we can do a one-on-one, and and so on. But as it pertains to today, the focus is going to be on managing rental properties for out-of-state landlords, investors, and so on. If you've got questions, as usual, we're going to put your questions in the chat box, and I'll get to them in about 20 minutes with the Ask Dr. Joe segment. And looking forward to that one. It's always good. You guys always put me on my toes, asking me all kind of questions. So I'm looking forward to, giving my best shot and give you some advice. So let's get down to business. And the issue, therefore, becomes, managing remote properties and tips for out-of-state investors. So, I suppose the question that you may want to ask is this, which is, how can mastering remote property management revolutionize your real estate investment strategy? How can mastering remote property management really fast track your way to achieving your real estate goals? Many times if you're out of town, it's very stressful. As I said before, many people feel overwhelmed by the challenges associated with managing properties from far away. It's intimidating, and therefore it's always easier to go local, because you don't have to deal with all the nonsense associated with managing properties far away. So for many real estate investors, the prospect of handling out-of-state investments it can be very intimidating. It can be very daunting. But if you can master this, then you can expand your portfolio. You can tap into other markets, especially some lucrative markets beyond your local area. And so what we're going to do here is give practical strategies to ensure consistent income streams and hopefully help you on your journey, regardless of distance. Okay, so managing remote properties effectively, it really requires several things. It requires a blend of leveraging technology, because there is technology that you can leverage, building reliable local relationships, because the local people are the ones with your eyes and ears as to what's going on locally. You're too far away, so it may not make any sense. And developing partnerships, developing relationships, and also obviously if you're out of state, you need to understand the local regulations, local laws, the do's and don'ts that are specific to your geographical area, because not all geographical areas have the same laws, and so on. So it's really, a hybrid of those things: technology, building relationships, and navigating the nuances of each state. And so by leveraging and learning from the experiences of other people, both successful and unsuccessful, and setbacks, you can avoid some of the common pitfalls and hopefully help you make what I call informed decisions. So this live stream is designed to equip you, whether you're a new, intermediate, or seasoned real estate investor, with the tools necessary to optimize your investments and hopefully achieve long-term success. So with that said, as usual, I've broken into 6 parts. And so part 1 is finding reliable local partners. Remember, I underline the word reliable, because you can find people, but are they reliable? Are they going to be there for you when you need them? Are they going to be, MIA, missing in action? And so now you're frustrated, you're far away, you don't know who to call, it's too far for you to drive, it's too far, you don't want to fly over there just to fix, the toilet. You need reliable people. What happens if your toilet guy is not available, or the heating goes out and you can't find the HVAC person? Then what? So finding reliable local partners is really, really important if you're going to consider buying and investing long distance. So the question, I suppose, is, why are local partners crucial for managing remote properties, and how can you find the best ones? I don't know about the best ones, but how can you find good ones, and so on. So that's what we're going to talk about first. And so we're going to break it down to 6 parts. This is part 1. And so local partners really is a backbone. Without that, you are done. You are gone. You are finished. So it's really the backbone of successful remote property management, is to have good, reliable local people, because they are the eyes and ears for you. They are on the ground, and they can handle directly maintenance issues. They can deal with the tenants. They can ensure that the property is in good condition. They can do all those kind of things if they're local. And so the question becomes, is how do you go about finding these people? And obviously it requires some research. Diligent researching is going to require some networking. You're going to have to find people who are in that market, who can say, okay, I know a good contractor. Oh, I know a good property management company. I know a good real estate agent. I know, these people live there. They know who services those areas, and they can give you some referrals and suggestions and recommendations. Okay, so start by networking with like-minded investors in your local area. If you're not there, then obviously you want to do some research and maybe go to platforms like Bigger Pockets. There's some Facebook groups. There's some Reddit groups of people who invest in the area that you are interested in investing. So you want to seek a recommendation. You can make posts. Hey, I'm interested in buying in city ABC. Okay, I'm looking for reliable, good contractors, good property managers, good lenders that services that area. Throw it out there, and you'll be surprised. People will come back and say, hey, I can recommend this person, I can recommend that person. You may want to check out the local REIA, that's REIA, Real Estate Investment Association. that service is the area where you're thinking in investing. And there's a chances are there are people who also have established relationships and established networks. So if you can find people who are locally doing what it is that you want to do, you can leverage on their relationships and their recommendations to help you build your network. Okay, so if you're looking for real estate agents, contractors, property management companies, lenders with a proven track record in your local area, the best way is through referrals. Conduct interviews, check references to ensure that they align with your standards and expectations. I mean, their agenda may not be the same as yours. So be careful. As Ronald Reagan advised, trust but verify. If someone gives you a recommendation, that's good, but you want to verify yourself that, check them out, do some research, ask to see some of the projects that they've done, get some recommendations, get some testimonials, all those kind of things. Conduct interviews, check references to ensure that they align with your standards and expectations. Establish, clear communications channels. How are you going to communicate? Through phone, through text, the video chat, with your local partner, because that's really important because you're not there. Nowadays, you can do video chats, whether it be Facebook, what do they call it? What Facebook uses? I have an Android, so I don't know. What do you guys do who Facebook people? Why don't you do your video chat? FaceTime, there you go. Like FaceTime, that's for Apple. And for Android folks, it's things like Google Meet or even WhatsApp. Therefore, you can do video chats. You can, send messages, emails, text messages, and things like that. So you have to establish some form of clear communications between you and your local partners because you're just not physically there. You want regular updates of how things are going on their project. You want transparent communication, which means that whether it's good, bad, and ugly, you need to be able to communicate. They need to be transparent to what's going on. They shouldn't want to hide stuff from you. And again, sometimes people, all they want to do is give you the rosy. Everything's going fine, we're all good, when in fact behind the scenes, things are just falling apart. Because that is what's going to help you build trust. And, trust is really, really key if you're going to be investing long distance. And you have to have a trusting relationship between you and your local partners. And so by fostering these strong relationships, I think you can mitigate some of the risks, you can reduce some of the risks, and really enhance the efficiency of your operations, especially in terms of property management. So first thing it says for is it's all about finding reliable, local partners wherever you are. So what are some of the action items associated with that you can do today, regardless of where you are? Network for recommendations. Join your local RIA. Join some, forums, networking platforms, and, connect with other investors to find reliable local partners wherever you are feeling you want to invest. Okay. After you've done that, you want to conduct some thorough vetting. Interview potential partners and check their references. And also, you want to establish some kind of communications protocol. Set up regular communication schedules where you can, communicate, converse, and also set expectations. So that's number one. Finding reliable local partners. Number two is leveraging technology. Leveraging technology for property management. Again, how you can manage properties is you can do it better by leveraging technology. Technology these days is crazy. Things are changing so fast with AI, with the internet, with some of these apps. It's amazing what you can do with technology, and you want to leverage technology as much as possible, especially in the area of property management and just overseeing your team in general. So the question then becomes this, which is how can technology streamline remote property management and enhance efficiency? How can technology streamline remote property management and enhance efficiency? Okay, so technology, I think, is really key. It's pivotal role in managing properties. Property management software nowadays, there's a whole bunch of them. Appfolio, Tenant Cloud, Buildium, Tenant Turbo, Turbo Tenant. I mean, there's a whole bunch of these online property management software, and they can automate many tasks, okay, such as rent collections, maintenance schedule, tenant communications. So the idea is that these tools and automation reduces the workload and minimizes the chances of error. Okay, leveraging technology to minimize errors, and you can utilize things like virtual software, video conferencing tools. They can be used to conduct inspections and showings. I'm using this thing called what do they call it? My Inspections. That's an app whereby my assistant can go to people's homes and do inspections, and it's on the app, so she can take photographs, get voice messages, and then I'm able to see how the properties are. So there's just so many different tools out there that you can use to really streamline your operations. So these tools can really enable you to stay connected with your properties and also with your tenants without having to be physically present. Okay, so additionally consider things like smart home technology to monitor and control your property systems remotely. Nowadays you've got tools whereby remote locks, if you do like short-term rentals, where you can change the codes when people leave. You have cameras whereby you can see what's going on with your property. There's a whole bunch of different things, smart home technology, thermostats, digital thermostats, and things like that. So by leveraging technology, you can ensure that your properties are managed efficiently and you remain informed as to what's going on with their condition and also what's going on with the tenants. This proactive approach helps you to protect your investment in terms of protecting the property's values, and also manage the tenant relationship, tenant satisfaction. Ultimately, these things will contribute to your success and to protecting your investment. So what are the action items associated with technology? Implement property management software. As I said before, nowadays there's lots of different software programs that you may want to consider. There are definitely pros and cons with each one. You don't need to spend big bucks. Some of these apps are free and allow you to do a lot of stuff that you otherwise would have to pay. So utilize some of the features of property management software. Utilize virtual tours, virtual showings. Conduct remote inspections and showings through virtual tools. And you may want to consider investing in smart home technology where you can monitor and control property systems remotely. Off to number 3, which is navigating different state regulations. I think that's pretty obvious. So the question then becomes, what are the key considerations when managing properties across different states, and how can you stay compliant? It comes to reason that not all, different states have different rules as to do's and don'ts, laws, landlord-tenant laws, eviction laws, security deposit laws. There's a whole bunch of different laws based on the jurisdiction that you're in. And if you're going to invest in a certain place, it's in your interest to learn what you can and can't do. What does the law require, you to stay compliant with, so that way you don't fall afoul of local rules and regulations. So each state has obviously its own set of regulations, and especially regulations governing real estate, including landlord-tenant laws, property taxes, building codes, and so forth. So understanding and complying with these regulations really is crucial for avoiding legal issues and ensuring smooth property operations. You can't go in front of a judge and say, Your Honor, I didn't know that the rules in ABC state was like this. I'm from a different state. They do it differently over there. Well, the judge will say, well, that's all well and good that you do it differently where you are, but the property is over here. So, just because you did it over there differently, it doesn't mean, you should know what the laws are here. And so you won't get the benefit of the doubt, and you can't say, well, Your Honor, I didn't know, because ignorance is not bliss in situations like this. So it's really important that you get to understand what the rules are where you are as it pertains to real estate and landlord-tenant laws, especially eviction laws, notice laws, security deposit laws, and all those different things. So consult with a local real estate attorney if in doubt, or a local property management company who can give you and share with you expert advice, and they can explain to you what you need to do to remain compliant and stay within the law, within the requirements and things like that. So keep abreast of any changes in the legislation, because obviously things change all the time, and you want to stay ahead of that because it could impact your investment. And staying compliant obviously involves record keeping and regular audits of your practices, check in and check out, and you know, I mean, I can't say a lot about bookkeeping and record keeping and managing the inflow and outflow of money, and trying to do that on a regular basis rather than waiting until tax time to do that. You know, things like ensuring that your leases are current, you know, property maintenance issues are scheduled, and you have some mechanisms for tenant communications, because good communications is always you know, recommended, versus, well, I don't need to see my tenants, I don't want to know the tenants, I don't care about the tenants, all I want is my money, all I want is the rent, as long as they pay the rent I'm happy, and so forth. That is okay, but I don't think it's a good long-term strategy. You want to check in with your tenants to make sure they're happy, and you got to have some kind of mechanism to you know, foster communications, because if you can do that, you know, you can protect your investment, and also you can avoid costly legal disputes, you know, and so on. So what are some of the action items associated with you know, navigating different state regulations? First thing, research the regulations in the state that you're thinking of doing business, understand the legal requirements in each of the properties, in each of the states where you're going to hold property. Consult with experts, work with local attorneys or property management experts to ensure compliance, and then maintain detailed records, you know, keep comprehensive records, and conduct regular audits to stay compliant. So again, we're kind of number 3, we just finished. We've got 3 down, 3 to go. So again, if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box, and I'll do my best to answer them. We should be getting there in about 5 to 10 minutes. Again, anything to do with real estate, if you've got issues, challenges, problems that you're experiencing, whether it be Section 8, whether it be in terms of landlord-tenant, whether it be in terms of tenants from hell, whether it be in terms of buying your next deal, constructions, renovations, you know, whatever it is, if you got some questions, put them in the chat box, and I'll do the best that I can to answer them in about 5 to 10 minutes. If you want to book a one-on-one, there's an issue that you really do need to deep dive with me, so that way I can help you. You can always book a one-on-one. You can go to my website, www.joeasimo.com, and you can sort of book a 1-hour session with me there. Let's keep moving. Number 4, ensuring consistent income streams. Okay, you want to protect your income streams, and that's what this is all about. So the question becomes, how can you maintain steady rental income from remote properties despite the challenges of distance? You want a reliable income stream, and that's the reason why I do Section 8, because I like that reliable income stream. As long as my tenants are there, I'm going to get paid. I can bank on that money, and I don't have the issues and challenges associated with market renters. Okay, but you know, so consistent income streams is really vital for any successful real estate investment. You've got to have a reliable income stream, whether it's good time, bad times, because you have a loan that you need to be taken care of every month. And if that money is not coming in, you're going to have to struggle to pay those expenses, especially if your expenses are high, your debt service coverage is high, you know, your monthly mortgage, your maintenance costs, the repair costs. I mean, you got to have a reliable income stream, in order to kind of mitigate that. So consistent income streams is vital, and managing remote properties, it can be complicated. But with the right strategies, you can have that reliable rental, steady income stream. So screen tenants obviously is number one. You got to have systems in place to screen tenants rigorously, thoroughly, okay? Because you need to find reliable and responsible tenants. You really do, because if you don't have that, if you have unreliable, if you have irresponsible tenants, then your nightmare is just starting. I don't know what to say. There's a lot to be said for peace of mind. There's a lot to be said for that, and there is nothing worse. I was talking to my brother. He's in town. When you get tenants from hell who know the law better than you do, they're giving you the runaround. It is not good. You get stressed out. You get frustrated. You get angry, and you don't have peace. So screening, getting the right person in your house is really, you can't survive if you can't handle that, okay? So a thorough screening process reduces, the risk of late payment, non-payment, and also property damage. Additionally, you can set sort of competitive rents, but fair, and to attract and retain quality tenants, and therefore you protect that income stream. You can protect your income stream by implementing proactive maintenance. So you're taking care of stuff before it gets worse. And regular inspections and timely repairs prevent really small issues from becoming costly problems. So by keeping your property in good condition, you enhance tenant satisfaction and you reduce vacancy rates. And then you can, ensure a more reliable income stream. So what are the action items associated with this? Screen tenants thoroughly. Use a comprehensive screening process to find reliable tenants. Another one is to set competitive rental rates. Research local market rates to price your rentals accordingly and attractively. And also implement a maintenance plan and schedule your regular maintenance or regular inspections and timely repairs to maintain the property in excellent condition. So these are some of the action items you may want to consider doing. And then number five of six, handling emergencies and repairs. You're going to have situations whereby repairs are needed. These are houses, things go wrong, and it could be, non-emergency where you can get to it the next day or two, or it could be emergencies where you need to get to it immediately. Okay, so how do you handle those things, and what strategies can you employ to manage emergencies and repairs effectively from a distance? How do you handle emergencies and repairs if you're from out of state? Okay, so let's talk about that. Emergencies and repairs are inevitable. It's going to happen in property management. Being prepared, obviously, is there the key. How do you handle these issues remotely? You're not in town, because how you do this is really essential for minimizing damage and also maintaining tenant satisfaction. Nothing worse than you got a problem if you're a tenant. You tell the landlord doesn't care, the landlord doesn't fix it up, and you got days and days go by and nothing is going on. The tenant gets angry, the tenant gets upset, they feel like you're just blowing them off, and it's not good PR, as they say. So how do you sort of handle these things remotely? You establish a network of trusted contractors and service providers who can respond quickly to emergencies situations. So you have to develop a network of people who are local, whether it be handymen, repairmen, it could be home warranty systems, electricians, plumbers, carpenters. All these people, it's helpful to be able to take your time, screen, find good people, and therefore when something goes wrong, you know exactly who to call. They know who you are, they know what your expectations are, and they can go out to the property and take care of it. So ensure that your local partners, give them clear instructions of do's and don'ts on how to handle various situations, whether it be routine non-emergency or emergency situation. You want to set up your emergency fund, set up some money on the side, so that way you have funds if emergency repairs are needed, repairs that are unexpected and can be costly. So having readily available funds allows you to address issues promptly without financial strain. So additionally, maintaining open lines of communication between you and your tenant, so that way they can report problems to you before those problems become major issues and could cost you, big time. So let's have a look. Number 5 is, what are the action items associated with handling emergencies and repairs? You want to build a network of contractors. Identify local real estate service providers for emergency and routine repair work. That's number 1. Number 2 is set up an emergency fund. Allocate funds specifically for unexpected maintenance-related issues. And thirdly, maintain tenant communications. Have a mechanism whereby you can reach out. Tenants can contact you. You can contact them to ensure that tenants know how to report emergencies and hopefully what you need to do to resolve some of these emergency situations. And then number 6, learn from other successful and unsuccessful investors. Learn from other people. A wise man learns from his mistakes. A genius learns from other people's mistakes. You need to learn from other people's mistakes rather than you making mistakes and learning from them. So what lessons can you learn from other investors' experiences in managing remote properties? Learning from the experience of others, obviously, is better. It's always better to learn from somebody else's mistakes than from your mistakes. Successful investors obviously, often emphasize the importance of thorough research and due diligence. If you take your time before you buy something, do your due diligence, do your research to make sure that you are in fact getting a good deal. You are in fact buying a house without what's the right word? Deferred maintenance. Okay, which means that you need to understand local markets, the cost of labor to do certain types of repairs, and also how you're going to get the money to hold your properties. Flexibility, obviously, in terms of lessons learned, is always good, and adaptability is always. These are key traits, I think, for successful investors. The ability to adapt when the market changes, the conditions locally changes, and you're not sort of fixated in one strategy, but you can adjust as and when is appropriate. This includes things like willing to shift between buying and renting. Okay, if the market is just not moving and you can't sell, then you may have to go to plan B, which could be to rent this property based on current market conditions and based on current opportunities. Conversely, unsuccessful investors frequently, this is a big complaint that a lot of investors, unsuccessful ones, is they over leverage, put too much debt on the property based on current opportunities and risk. The market changes. So if you put too much debt on your property, then it's the debt that, if you're not careful, can drag you down. It can weigh you down, especially if you have vacancies, especially if you have difficult tenants, because the mortgage is still due. But what you have is a lot of debt. And, if you have no income and you have this debt, at some point you're going to be in a difficult situation. So over leveraging and lack of or inadequate financial planning are some of the major mistakes by unsuccessful real estate investors. And, too much debt, obviously, if something changes in the marketplace, unexpected things happen, it can bring people down. It really can. I've seen that many, many times. People thinking that they can sell or flip this house, and the market turns on them. Now they can't sell it. They got this hard money loan that's that they're responsible for. There's no income because they can't sell the property. The property won't support a rental because the cash flow is not there. It's just a mess, and that's usually what brings people down, unfortunately. So be conservative. Build strong financial reserves. And so what are some of the action items associated with learning from successful and unsuccessful investors? Conduct thorough research, prioritize due diligence in all your investment decisions, stay flexible, be prepared to adjust strategies based on market conditions and personal circumstances. And finally, avoid over leveraging. Maintain a conservative approach, especially in a down market, to borrowing and build strong financial reserves. So with that said, my friends, let's just wrap it up with a conclusion. How can mastering these strategies I've discussed in today's live stream transform your approach to managing remote properties? So mastering strategies discussed today can work. It can transform your business and helping you build a robust framework for navigating the unique challenges associated with long distance landlording or long distance real estate investing. By understanding the importance of local partnerships, building relationships locally, leveraging technology, staying compliant with state regulations and rules, and you can really ensure your remote properties are well managed and profitable. So successful remote property management requires preparation, flexibility, and continuous learning. So by implementing the strategy I've discussed today and learning from experienced and successful real estate investors, really you can sort of enhance your resilience and your position yourself for long-term success. So real estate markets will always have its ups and downs. It goes through cycles, but with the right approach, you can thrive in any environment. So I encourage you to explore these strategies in depth and apply the lessons learned to your investment approach. So hopefully today's session is a good one. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it's giving you the motivation and the encouragement to go out there and take action, because that's all we're about on this live stream, is helping, encouraging people, motivating people to take action. It's scary, it's intimidating, you're going out on faith, but it's okay, you can do it, and so on. So with that said, my friend, that's number 6, and if you got some questions, please put in the chat box. I will get to them in a couple of minutes. And again, if you want to reach out to me, do a one-on-one, or just reach out to me if you got a question. You can shoot me an email at joe@joeasamoah.com, joe@joeasamoah.com. And if you want to book a one-on-one with me, where we can do a deep dive into your situation, your problems, the challenges that you're experiencing, I'll be more than happy to spend some quality time with you, and we can do a deep dive. I had, I think, 3 this week. Very, very good. I had one today. I had one yesterday. And I also had one on Monday. So with that said, my friends, let's get down to the questions and see who is here. So today, greetings from Dow 2. Hey, Dow 2, I hope you're doing well. Greetings from Phoenix. Hey, Eman, how's it going, man? Long time no hear. And Robert Ortiz. Hey, California. Which part of California in, Robert? And give you a little shout out for you. I think you got a question. So by reliable people, do you mean a property manager or individual contractors, plumbers, electricians, etc.? I think you just need reliable people anyway. It's hard to do this business with unreliable people. It's hard. It's frustrating. You got to have people who have the same ethics as you, they have the same outlook as you, and who are transparent. They're not trying to pull a fast one on you, trying to get over on you, and things like that. You need those reliable people, whether it be real estate agents, whether it be to lenders, whether it be contractors, whether plumbers, electricians, roofers, carpenters. I mean, you just need reliable people. And it's hard, hard, hard to find reliable people. There's a lot of people out there, they're all about the money, and it's just hard to find people who are trying to look out for your interests and not just their selfish interests. So that's the reason why you want to get referrals from other people, people that you trust, because they generally will not refer a bad person to you. If they value your relationship, they're probably going to make recommendations, if at all, with good people, and that's the reason why it's really important to hear what other people are doing, and you can hopefully leverage from them. If you're in the DC area, you want to leverage my contractors, no problem. Just let me know, and I'll try and connect you with them. No, I mean, there's no hidden agenda. I'm not making anything of that. It's just I know that it's hard to find good contractors, and I have them, and so on. So Ty, hey Ty. Hey Dr. Joe, do you think the headache and cost of a property manager, etc., for out-of-state property is worth the potential gain? It could be. I haven't had a lot of, success with property management companies. I know there's a lot of good ones out there. I just haven't met them. But I do know is that if you're going to have a property, you're going to have things go wrong, and there's got to be some kind of mechanism whereby you can deal with the problem. Otherwise, the problems get worse, and the tenant can get upset, and next thing you know, you've got a whole other set of issues you got to deal with. So it can be tied. To answer your question, I would, if you got properties out of state, I would definitely try to get some referrals of property management company in your local area. I would do some due diligence on them to find out, it's not just how much they charge, that's important, but also how do they respond to emergencies. Some of these management companies, they have multiple, what's the right word, profit centers. They make money when there's a vacancy. They make money when, they collect rent. They make money when there's repairs to be done. There's just, and you lose money. So I would definitely do some due diligence before selecting the property manager, get some referrals, and learn about their systems. How do they find proper people? How do they screen for tenants? How often do tenants stay in their properties? How do they handle communications? What about the rents? What about the taxes? What about the insurance? All those things are important, especially if you got out-of-state properties. And so sometimes it's just easier to just pay somebody 5, 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is. And if they're reliable, let them deal with it. And that way you can go about your business and not have to worry about, receiving calls from tenants and tenants, toilets and all that kind of stuff, and so on. So do you believe that okay, another question is from Ty. So Ty is on a roll. Do you believe the housing, again, if you got some questions, please put in the chat box, and I'll do the best that I can. It's now 7:50. I'll do the best that I can to answer them in the next few minutes before we wrap up for the day. Do you believe the housing authorities will continue to allocate more funding for voucher programs as cost of living goes up and the need for the program increases? I've been doing Section 8 for about 35 years, okay? And during that time, I've heard it all before. Hey, we got a new administration coming in. They're going to cut down vouchers, and are they going to end the voucher program? Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is cheaper to pay me rent to house a family of 2, 3, 4, 5 people than it is to have that family homeless. And then you got to deal with all the other social issues associated with homelessness and so on. So I don't believe they're going to, if anything, the problem is getting worse. Rents are getting crazy, and a lot of people are struggling, and they need help. And so these rental assistance programs, these voucher programs, are really the key to prevent a lot of these families from being homeless. So I don't believe it's going to be shut down anytime soon. If anything, the need is going to be greater, which means that they're going to need more funding. The problem is this, and the opportunity is this, is that having a voucher is worthless if you can't find landlords who are willing to take them. Okay, so what good is a voucher if you can't find a landlord, if you can't find a house, to live in? It just becomes another piece of paper. So I don't think that the program is going to be reduced. If anything, it's going to be more money. I think like $30 billion goes to the Section 8 program right now. It's by far the most expensive housing program, period. And more funds goes to Section 8 than for any other program through the federal government. And so I think that there's opportunity for those people who understand the Section 8 program. There's opportunities if you can navigate that program, and that's where my forte is. That's where my expertise lies, and that's where I feel I can be of assistance to you if you decide you want to go down that path also. Ready. Thank you again, Dr. Joe. Always a great session. You're welcome, Reddy. And hopefully that was helpful. Lauren. Hey, Lauren. Hope you're doing well. And where are you based out of, Lauren? Let me know. And I'll give you a little shout out. Ty, thanks for your input, Dr. Joe. Where do voucher holders on the waiting list live while they are waiting? Where do they live? They live wherever they can get housing. So the way it works is that wherever you are in the country, there's a local housing authority that has jurisdiction over your property. Okay, so if you're in Washington, D.C., it's the D.C. Housing Authority. If you're in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, there's a housing authority there. It's a federal program, so there's always a housing authority somewhere that has jurisdiction over where your property is. Okay, so once you found that, then the question then becomes, there's only so much funds that they have available for this program. So based on the funding, they will determine how many people they can offer vouchers to. Okay, so they'll put in adverts and say, hey, on August the 1st, we are now going to accept vouchers. We're going to open up the list. So if you're not on the list, you can apply to get onto the list. There's a whole rush of people who want to get onto this program, and at some point they're going to say, we have too many people applying. We are closing down the list. We're not accepting anymore. So you're on the waiting list. And some people, depending on some jurisdictions, can be on that list for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years. Okay? So in that time, hey, they still got to live somewhere. And so they live wherever they can until their time comes where they are issued a voucher. And once they're issued a voucher, then they can go out there and find a landlord who's prepared to accept and take in that voucher. Unfortunately, in some jurisdictions, a lot of landlords don't want to deal with the Section 8 program because of the stereotypes that they hear. Tenants from hell. You got to wear bulletproof vests to collect rent, non-stop drama, chaos, confusion, all those stereotypes, which is true for some people, but there's a lot of good families out there who have a voucher who are just yearning for an opportunity to live in a nice house in a nice area and rent from a nice landlord. And that's where I come in, and that's where you come in if you want to be successful in this program. You have a product that they want, that's in high demand, and hopefully a product that's in low supply. Katie. How you doing, Katie? Hi, Dr. Joe. Will you share your method approach to analyzing a property to determine if a property would be a good investment? Do you focus on monthly or yearly net gains or long term? It's a good question, Katie. Maybe I could do a session on that analysis, due diligence. What do I look for before I pull the trigger on a property? So I'll answer it briefly. So let's just take this scenario. What's the time? Oh, 7:54. So I got a couple more minutes. So a wholesaler calls me. Hey, Dr. Joe, I got a great deal on this property at 123 Main Street, in town. I need you to go have a look, let me check it out, and make a decision whether you want to go for it or not. Okay, I need you to work fast because there's a lot of competition for this. The usual blah 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 that these wholesalers tell you, and typically they'll provide information that's, you know, the value of the house is overinflated, or the ARV is inflated, and also they'll inflate the or not inflate. What's the opposite? Inflate, reduce, minimize the repair cost to give the illusion that you're going to make all this money. So you're going to have to do some due diligence on the ARV. You're going to have to do some due diligence in terms of the repair cost. And if you're going to rent it, you're going to have to do due diligence on what the market rent is. And there's software out there where you can, plug in the numbers, do the research, and it'll spit out and do some analysis for you. There's several. I know Bigger Pockets has a tool. I use the one called dealcheck.io, DEALCHECK, dealcheck.io. It's a pretty good tool I use. They got lots of different calculators. They got a Burr calculator. They got a fix and flip calculator. They got a wholesaler account. There's so many calculators out there that you can use to do your analysis. Okay, do your due diligence, whether the numbers make sense, and so on. So depending on your exit strategy, you may say, well, I need a certain return on investment. I need a certain amount of cash flow. And then that will help you determine whether it's a go or no go. So probably what we could do is, if anybody on this has a scenario, maybe we can do a one-on-one where if you got some property, we can do an analysis together. And so we can run through a couple of scenarios, run the numbers. I'll be on the call with you. We'll get to the software, we'll plug in the numbers, and let's see the results, whether it's a go or no go. So maybe that's something you may want to consider, Katie, or anybody else who are thinking about pulling the trigger on a particular property and would like my take. We could do some research, we could do the analysis, and then we can do some go no go, and so on. So I do primarily long term, so I'm into buy and hold. So I'm okay with not a lot of cash flow today, but because I know that at least where I live, where I buy, over time properties tend to appreciate. So I'm looking for appreciation, and I'm okay with a little less cash flow in exchange for long-term appreciation. So that's just me, because my cash needs are met elsewhere. If I have to live off my rent, then it's all about the cash flow. And therefore, typically for cash flowing properties, you get higher cash flow if you buy in cheaper areas, and so on. So different markets. So again, depending on your exit strategy, you may decide I need to make my money now, today, or I'm okay. I can be patient and wait 5, 10, 15, 20 years until I can do real well. Katie, again, curious if you consistently use a formula, spreadsheet, or other tools, or primarily rely on 30 years of experience, priceless tool. Yeah, I mean, it's not, there's something, having done this so long, I can usually make decisions pretty quickly. There are, as I said before, there are formulas, there are spreadsheets, there are other online tools which can help you with the analysis. I use the one dealcheck.io. I know Bigger Pockets have one. There's a boatload of those online real estate investor calculators, and then you decide the metrics that you want to use, whether it's important on the cash-on-cash return, ROI, NPV, net present value, IRR, internal rate. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different metrics. And let me tell you one thing, though. All those metrics are meaningless, absolutely meaningless, if you can't find a good tenant who's going to pay you rent, because any number times 0 is 0. And so you want to take the time to find good people, because if you can't find good people, believe me, and I've learned the hard way, it's a nightmare, disaster waiting to happen, and so on. Anyway, my friends, it's just about 8 o'clock. I'm going to wrap it up for the day. I hope today was helpful. I hope I provided you some insights into investing and buying properties long distance. And again, if you want to shoot me an email, you can shoot me an email at joe@joeasamoah.com. And if you want to book a one-on-one with me where you can do a deep dive on any real estate topic that you're struggling with, that you're wrestling with, that you like my insights on, You can always book a one-on-one with me. You can go to www.joeasimo.com, www.joeasimo.com, and you can schedule a one-on-one with me where we can do a deep dive into any problem situations, things that you're wrestling with, things that is preventing you from pulling the trigger, things that are keeping you up at night. I just want people to take action. Please feel free to leverage view me as a resource that can help you on your journey towards financial independence and financial freedom. So that said, my friend, it is now 8 o'clock. I'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be traveling to Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya in about 2 weeks, and I'll be gone for 3.5 weeks. I'm going to Serengeti. I'm going to Zanzibar. Going to do a safari, relaxing, some beautiful beaches. And yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. And hopefully, you too can do this as well. So again, thank you very much for tuning in for this week's Wealth Wednesday, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care, guys. Bye for now.